Hello, thank you so much for being here, for watching or listening, whether you're on YouTube with us or on the podcast. I really appreciate your presence today. And let's get right to it. So, before we start this episode, we are going to touch on, and just touch on because it's really such a huge subject, but I want to touch on, I recently completely shifted my business, my message, my model, the work that I do in the world because I was called to do so. And there's a lot to that, which I'll go into a little bit later, but I just want to share with you today why the fundamentals and the foundation of that, because so often we think that if we feel really passionate about something and perhaps we've come into what feels like a calling for us, right? And we do that and it feels so good, but then it changes. And that's okay that it changes, right? That's part of our evolution. It's part of our involution. It's part of just being human on planet Earth right now. So I want to share, I've done healing work for so many years. Really, my whole life has been about helping people to heal themselves. And while that work is great and still holds a lot of value, I get to shift now into what feels really in alignment with me. And then I get to help you shift to what really feels in alignment with you because I am honoring that within myself. So I encourage you and invite you to do the same. I have a new website. It just launched last week. It's tarahcyel.com. tarahcyel.com. I've had several people ask me what Cyel means, and that's coming soon. I will share that with you. I will do a whole episode on that, and it's going to be helpful for you again in your evolution and your involution. And what we're going to be talking about today is absolute healing versus relative healing. And I have seen a lot of different levels of healing over the years for people. And what I've realized is, why not go for the absolute healing? Why not go for straight to the source, literally, instead of this relative healing that we get a little bit and then it comes again, and then maybe there's more layers there that we have to uncover of our quote unquote wounds or things that we feel need to be healed. And I'm not invalidating those things. I'm not invalidating anybody's journey and their healing journey and what is right for them in the moment. I am just shifting my work into what I am being called to do. And so I am being called now to work with the infinite nature of you and of me and what that means as a human being. Right? So I'm going to be doing a longer infinity training coming soon. At the end of this episode, I'll tell you how to sign up, just to let me know that you're interested in that so I can let you know when that happens. Because you really are. I mean, you are an infinite being. If you are God, which you are, then what possibly could need healing? Right? It's only because we believe that this physical body, some part of us believes that this physical body, this journey we're on, is real. And I know that's scary for a lot of people to think that it's unreal. And that doesn't mean it's not the experience you're having, because it is. It's just not who you are. It's just a part of who you are right now. So before we get further into that, let us come into a space within ourselves and without ourselves that is still, so that we can receive the information today in the very best way that we can for our highest good. So go ahead and close the eyes if you can. And just breathe. Just take some nice deep breaths. Really invite this energy in, this space that I'm holding for you right now, which is the space of unlimitedness, infinity, the absolute. And as you breathe in, just bring all aspects of your persona, your whatever you want to call it, this beautiful human you have created in your consciousness to experience through. Bring all aspects of that person into yourself right now. All parts that need love, all parts that need to be seen and heard and understood. Doing this gracefully, and being kind to yourself, being compassionate to yourself for exactly where you're at, because it's okay. And if you are here, you most likely have an interest in going even beyond that. And that's awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this new chapter for myself and for the people that I serve. So let's get into what it means, what I mean when I say absolute versus relative healing. So I've been an acupuncturist for, going on over 10 years professionally, and then of course in school. My foundation is in looking at the body, and of course looking beyond the body, and knowing that there's so much more, right? We are these amazing infinite beings, spiritual beings that come into, kind of filter down into this body, into this experience, and then we have all of these experiences as a human being, right? And for so long, I worked on, someone's, I guess, their pain from their childhood, from things that had happened to them, maybe past life stuff even. Let's bring up the pain, let's look at it, let's see why it's there. What is the root of whatever physical, chronic health challenge that you happen to be experiencing right now? And let's teach you how to heal yourself. And so I always was tapping into that which is infinite, God, source, all that is, right? Because that's what you are. That's who you are at your core. That is the truth, right? This human experience is it's not that it's not true for you and that you're not experiencing it, but it's not, when all this goes away, then what are you, right? There's something there, there's something left. And so what is that? And there's so many layers to that. But when you recognize what that is, and when you have the knowingness of what that is, not just in your mind, right? Because your mind is a trickster. It's not even yours. It doesn't belong to you, right? It's part of the ego or the persona that you are creating for yourself. So when you can expand beyond just knowing, yes, I know I'm God. Yes, I know I'm source. These are things, if you've been on a spiritual journey, if you've been practicing, if you feel like you're a galactic being, right, from another planet here, you very much have a good handle on knowing that you're not just this human body. But how does that relate to being attached to what we feel is our right to be attached to, right? We feel very proud a lot of times, right? Like, I have come through my pain. I have come through this pain to the other side, whether it's an illness that you've dealt with, or abuse, or, all of these things that humans experience and that we label as bad and we label as we don't want them to be happening. There's more to it than that. So how can we, in the moment of experiencing something, a trauma perhaps, or a memory, or a physical symptom in our body, how can we in that moment remember who we are such that it starts to break open those spaces, those dark spaces where we feel so attached to that. So it brings the light in, right? It's like the cracks of light that start coming in, until pretty soon it's all light, and you've cracked the illusion that you are this human being and that you've had these experiences and that it's part of who you are, right? Well, it's not, and it doesn't have to be. No matter what pain or trauma that you have experienced as a human being, I am inviting you to have the knowingness that you are not that. Not even for a second. not even for a moment. And perhaps your soul chose those experiences to go along with whatever theme, your soul's calling or your soul's purpose, and maybe that has brought you here. And that's beautiful. But you can let that go. You can let that just be an experience that you had in the past, right, as a human being. And you can then bring this awareness, this new, fresh awareness, this way of seeing. And by the way, these words I'm saying, what I'm trying to explain is not explainable, right? So it's this really funny place to be in. Like, I'm trying to explain to you the absolute of the absolute, like the absolute everything. And I want to credit, of course, there's so many teachers over over many, many, many centuries who have talked about this. But there is something that's even before God. And I recently heard Bentinho Massaro talk about it as being called the absolute. So what is before God? What is before creation, right? God, or the source, or the universe, or absolute, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, not the absolute, but all that is, whatever word you want to call for God, created, creation, right? We are that. We are God. But we are also what comes before God. I know it's pretty mind-blowing, but there is something there. There is something before consciousness, before quality, because even God has a quality, right, of love and light. And there is something before that. What is that? The absolute, the everything, the nothing, all at once. You cannot explain it, right? So if in these times of, oh my gosh, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling this pain, so there's the process of being present with it, right? That's the surrender in the moment. Being kind and loving and gentle with yourself, right? That still holds true. And then there's that next step of course, being the one who's observing yourself feeling this way, feeling pain, feeling sad, feeling discomfort of any kind. There's the presence and there's the awareness, right? There's the God of like, oh, that's not actually me. I'm just having this, beautiful experience that, by the way, doesn't label itself as good or bad. And then we can even go, so that already takes us out of the experience of the pain, whatever the pain is, right? And then we get to go, so we get to go into this, okay, I am love, I am light, I am God, right? It's all God. It's all good. And then we get to go even further back, or back, I say in quotes, to what is before that. It's a great meditation to just sit there, and I've been doing this lately, and it's really cool. And you can't feel it really, because it's what's before creation, before existence, before ever anything. But just try to meditate on that for a moment, in your next session. And then when you trickle back down into Terra, right, living this life here on Earth right now, for a special reason, I believe, right? We all have that. But it becomes less significant. Your pain becomes less significant, no matter what it is that you have experienced, because you get to see, quote unquote, with new eyes. So the relative healing that I have worked with people a lot on, right, is that going through and saying, oh, what caused this? And by the way, I can almost always find some root, right? Some emotional root, some belief pattern or system. But the thoughts and the emotions that we feel are still the external. They're still not going really inward. that's deeper than the level of just seeing yourself as a body, as a physical, mechanical body, right? And fixing the parts of the body and taking medication and all of that, right? There's that piece, which is the most surface that you can possibly get, right? And so then under that, you've got the emotions and the thoughts, and let's look at those and see what is creating in your body the physiology of imbalance. But then there's more, right? Let's go to the place where you are literally all that is and before that. And that's really going deep as you can inside. So having that realization, it's the process of, or the act of self-realization. And it's, it is a process. It can be a process, but it can also happen in a split second. And it's not something that you have to try to be or do or feel, because it's already who and what you are at your very core. So it's simply a remembrance process. It's simply remembering, having the realization over and over and over and over until it becomes your default state. And this is really where what I call absolute bliss, where that lives. Right? Because we get bliss and happiness relatively from things that are happening, from how we feel. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. But it just depends on what you want in your life. So if you have the remembrance of who you truly are, the infinite being, that is the healing. That is the healing. There's nothing else that needs to happen. There's no remembering my inner child or my wounds or whatever has happened for me, because and I'm not saying that's not valid for some people, right, to work through those things if that's where they're at. But if you feel ready to take that next step, I see this in people who are really just tired of going back again and looking at what their mom and their dad stories and their whatever it was, even past life stuff, right? That's all different expressions of your infinite nature. So what if you just remembered that, and that was enough to heal you? So whatever it is you have going on right now, I invite you into this practice. I invite you into listening to my words to point you to that, right? To basically the unexplainable. And how you have glimpsed it or experienced it, which we all have at some point in our lives, right? Where you just feel that overwhelming sense of peace and calm come over you, and there's nothing you need or want or could ever need or want, because you are infinite. So go into a meditation, right? Which is just sitting there with yourself. If you've never meditated before, then maybe, you may not be listening to this if that's the case. But if you are, that's okay. You just sit with yourself for a few moments, and I want you to experience yourself pulling yourself back from, okay, I'm a person. Okay, I'm presence. I'm here. I am here, right? I'm present. I'm in the now. Then I'm the one that's aware of being here, present in the now, experiencing what I'm experiencing. Already that takes you out of whatever it is, the pain. And by the way, this isn't a way to get rid of or get out of or run away from pain. Absolutely not. This is not a, I don't want to feel anything. This is knowing that you don't have to feel that way, right? Unless you choose to continue to identify with it. So, and this is a process of continuing to be loving with yourself, kind with yourself, graceful. If you don't get what I'm saying, just stick with me. I'm going to continue on this journey with you of awakening and realizing your infinite nature. So we're back to a person, presence, awareness, and then we get to go into what is before that, right? The absolute. What is before just being aware? So I hope this was a helpful little glimpse. I do want to make a few announcements now about things that are coming up around the new, I guess, revitalized trainings. And I want to tell you a little bit about what got me here. Of course, it's been a long, it's been a journey for sure. But when I heard about this absolute, right, this something before consciousness, something before God, it immediately, I knew it was true. I knew it was truth. Immediately I was like, yes, that feels so good, so right to me. I have to share this with people, right? I have to even stop doing some of the other work that I was doing because it doesn't feel true for me anymore. And I just knew, I just felt called. And if I am going to help you rise to meet your soul's calling, then of course I have to follow mine. Right? So that's where I'm at. I don't know, I don't have some great blueprint for where this is all going. I just know what I'm meant to be sharing with you. And I'm going to be doing an infinity training. So that's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be 4 weeks or 6 weeks or what it is, but it's going to be a longer training series to guide you and to point you and to help you realize this for yourself, bring it into your life, your actual life. And then, so my vision is that when I help you kind of go to the edge of who you are, right? Push you to your edge again and again and again until you have this realization, this knowingness that you are an infinite being, and even beyond that, then you can bring that back into your human being if you want, and use that to empower yourself to rise and meet your soul's calling, and then to empower others to do the same. So that is my vision for you and for helping you to do that, because I know we are here to do really awesome, wonderful, crazy cool work in the world, right? We've all been called here together at this time to raise vibration of Earth, and even though once we pull back, we realize the insignificance of even that, right? So there's a lot of paradoxes going on here, and it's okay if it's confusing for you. It's confusing for me too sometimes, but just stick with me. And if you would like to know about the infinity trainings when they happen, I'll most likely do the first one for everybody for free, so you guys get to experience that, see what it's like, see if you want to continue, if you want to go further, and then I will have options for you to go further. It'll be like a, kind of like a training course, like a mini training course, all online, of course, and recorded so that you can watch them. So if you're interested in that, simply go to tarasael.com/infinityinterest, tarasael.com/infinityinterest, and just put your name and email. That's it, and I'll just let you know when it's happening. You can also check out my new website at tarasael.com, and there you will find a great free gift I have created called 29 Signs You're Probably an Alien, and it just goes through, this list of, if you have felt this way as a human being on this planet, you are very, very, very likely that you are from another planet, right? And that you are here to do this work and to help raise the vibration of Earth. You can also, if you're interested in exploring your next best step, right? Perhaps you're feeling confused about how to even take that next step, that next level of how do I rise and meet my soul's calling? How do I even listen and know what my soul's calling is, even though I feel it deep inside of myself, right? I know it's there, I feel it, I just don't know what it is. Or maybe you do and you don't know how to take the next step. You can go to calendly.com, that's calendly.com/Tara Long. Next best step session. That's a complimentary session. You and I get on the phone together, and they're so much fun. They're so much fun. So I can't wait to meet you there. And what else is going on? You can also connect with me on my private Facebook group, Awaken Your Infinite Nature, where I am there. I do Facebook Lives and support and all of that. There's all kinds of fun stuff coming, guys. So just stay tuned. I'm so happy to have you in this amazing community, and reach out and support each other. If you are in the Facebook group, support each other. You guys we need each other. We need this tribe of people who are like-minded, like-spirited, like-hearted. We know what's going on, and we get it, and we're ready. We're ready to rise to the occasion, if you will, here on planet Earth. So I'm so happy you're with me. Continue to awaken your infinite nature in every moment. Just make that choice. Okay, I'm so excited, and I'll talk to you guys soon. So much love. Bye. Love you guys.